Hey everyone, I'm Becky,
And I'm Sarah.
and we're doing Bickering Book Reviews. Today we're talking about Book Lovers by Emily Henry, which I got off of Overdrive.
Oh, I got it off. I'm like Overdrive. What's Overdrive? No, I got it off of Libro. Libro, which is like a audiobook arc place, and I also read it off of Overdrive. So
Um, so this is an adult romance book, and it is about Nora, and Nora is, I want to say early 30s. And Nora has an interesting backstory because you know how, like in the Hallmark movie, where the man from the business like goes to the small town to shut down the Christmas tree ornament factory, but he meets a girl and falls in love with her and dumps his girlfriend in the big city. Nora is the girlfriend from the big city. And so the book starts, it's basically what it is, which I actually thought was kind of a cool idea. So the book starts, she's just gotten dumped. I think the guy, oh, he had gone to buy a boutique hotel in Texas and decided to stay there because he was going to marry the daughter of the family that owned the hotel. So like it's a Hallmark thing. So she's a literary agent in New York, and she's basically ever since her mother passed away when she was 18, she's taking care of her younger sister Libby. She has one client that she feels very passionately about, and she's trying to sell the book about a small town in North Carolina called Sunshine, North Carolina, and she meets with a editor named Charlie. And Charlie basically doesn't like the setting, and Nora gets very offensive, and they have this big fallout and no business relationship. Well, cut to about a year later, 2 years later, it was 2 years later. Um, and Nora's sister Libby is pregnant again with her third baby, and she's having a hard time. And she convinces Nora that she wants to go vacation in Sunshine, North Carolina. Well, when Nora gets there, it turns out that Charlie is from Sunshine, North Carolina, and his father has recently had a stroke. And so he has moved home to help run the family businesses. And as these kind of books go, there are misunderstandings and flirting and feelings and relationships develop.
but there's also a list.
There is a list. Oh, yeah,
The
there's a list.
the sister has decided that they're gonna live out their rom-com fantasy. Well, Nora, because the sister's married, and so they're gonna live out their rom-com fantasy and have a great month-long trip. So there's certain things on the list that they're all gonna try to do, like save a small town business, and what were
Right.
some? It was like go out with two like farmers.
They will fall in love with a local, save a small town business. I can't remember. It was
Had a horse.
right,
I
of
know was
course.
one of them.
It was all the stuff that like in those holiday Christmas, like Christmas Hallmark movies kind of
Yeah.
thing.
And so they're working on a list, and so that just kind of keeps them pushed forward. Because I
So,
really like the list part of it.
well, to me, the thing that made this book stand out, was the banter between Charlie and Nora. I never warmed like it took me a while to warm up to Nora, but I really liked Charlie. Like,
I liked
and
Nora.
then I
I
liked
liked
their
Nora because I could
interaction.
identify with her. I identified with Nora. Like her anxiety and her need to take care of her younger sister. Like I identified with her. And I liked the banter back and forth between her and Charlie. I really
Yeah,
did enjoy Charlie as well.
that was to me like Charlie and like Libby's storyline to me kind of played out exactly as I expected it to. Like there was no surprises. Um, but I understood where Nora was coming from, like with everything with her mom and having to take on that adult parent role at such a young age.
I do have to admit that I wasn't taken in by the setting though. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
charming to me. Like the setting just seemed like a depressed Ohio town.
But I kind of feel like that was the point, and that was why Charlie had a problem with the book.
Right.
Was
That's
like
true.
the book made it seem like it was like this like Stars Hollow when really it's like not. And so when you get to the town, you're like, oh.
Yeah. That's true. But I liked the transformation of the bookshop. I thought that was really interesting and
I
cool.
did. Like I liked the progression. It drives me crazy in books where you have characters who are like, I was a vegetarian for 10 years and then I started eating Whoppers. You would end up in the hospital if you did that. And it just, and so that it lost points for me because of that. Sarah, I've been a vegetarian for like 13 years. Sarah's been out with me. If something happens and I accidentally ingest anything with any kind of meat, I get sick. Yeah. So it's like you gotta, yeah. So that kind of threw me. I don't know if other people would even notice that though. I feel like there's not a lot to say. Like I said, I enjoyed the banter. I liked the relationship between Libby and Nora. Like I felt like that felt very realistic. Yeah. I really liked Charlie. I was happy with the ending. I thought the ending worked out in a way that made sense, but also like it wasn't like a super happy, super ending.
I was really kind of worried about the ending there for a second because Nora talks about the kind of books that she likes, and I was like, oh crap, is it going to be one of those books?
Yeah.
And it kind of was, but it was still good. Right.
Well, and because honestly, there's really, it's two relationships, because you've got the Libby and Nora relationship and Nora and Charlie, and it's does really like highlight how not only do you have this like important romantic relationship, but how other relationships can be just as important.
Right. Well, and I liked how Charlie was framed. He wasn't the broody Mr. Darcy stereotype. He was interesting. The way he ticked and the way he was put together was very interesting.
Right. And like Nora and Charlie's like interactions and behaviors made sense, you know?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like one of these like over the top kind of like rom-com things. It's not really I mean, it had funny moments, but it's not really a rom-com. Do you have anything else?
Mm-mm.
So we should rate it. Our rating system starts at the top with 5 unicorns. We got down to 2 unicorns. If we don't like it, it is a horse.
I'm at 3 unicorns. It was solid. I mean, I don't know who I'd recommend it to, but I'd be okay with recommending it. Like it was solid enough. It was enjoyable enough, and I got through it pretty quickly. I enjoyed the characters. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, because I'm like, I feel like it's better than a 3, but it's not quite a 4 for me now that I think about it. And it was. I would probably read another book by this author. We don't need to recommend it though, because there's like 150 people on the wait list for it at the library. But yeah, it was a solid. It's a good beach read.
Yeah,
it's something fun if you want something kind of. It's not even mindless. It's just something
cute and fun.
Yeah. So that is where we are on Book Lovers, and we'll see you around.
Bye.
Bye. Okay,